Got a weird text yesterday. I was out in Little Italy. I'm like, what is this? And a friend of mine from WFAN in New York sent me a text, and he asked me the question, and I straight out said no. And honestly, the reaction, it was flat out, why? You guys all hate him. I go, I don't hate him.
I don't think anyone here hates him.
I think there are some fans who, for whatever reason, maybe they hated his father or whatever, they've called in, they've tweeted here and there. I do think it's the vast minority of people hate Shedeur Sanders.
I think there are people that hate Shadour Sanders fans because I don't think Shedeur has done anything wrong.
And
I don't think that there's nothing that Shedeur has done, in my opinion, to make anyone dislike him. I think he's been a good kid so far. Is he ready to play quarterback in the NFL? I don't know. Probably not.
Well, I think some of our media brethren, when they say that and then they have a bunch of people telling them to, kiss their ass and God knows what else, I think they get annoyed by that. But that's not Shedeur's fault.
Shedeur. Shedeur's not doing that.
That's
fans of Shedeur are doing that. I can't put that on the guy. It's not his fault he's got fans. It's not his fault he was uber popular in college. It's not his fault who his dad is. So I can't blame him.
I didn't know what was going on yesterday, and I was like, no. Well, what if you got your pick back? No. And then I heard this. Somebody sent me this on Twitter, and I put two and two together and went, oh, okay. Here's Evan Roberts yesterday on WFAN in New York.
It is time for the Jets to acquire Shedeur Sanders from the Cleveland Browns. And someone tell me why that's a bad idea. And I don't want to hear about it's a circus. It's a circus? What's this? What the hell is this that we're watching? Bad, crappy football is a circus. The Jets should have drafted this guy, I don't know, second, third, fourth. They got a million opportunities to draft him. He has not gotten an opportunity in Cleveland. I don't really care about the Cleveland Browns, so I'm not going to fight their battles. I'll let Josina Anderson take care of that. All I'm saying is I see a talent, a guy I think we all talked about him as a guy that could at least be a serviceable starting quarterback in the NFL. They are not giving him a chance in Cleveland. If I'm Darren Muji, I call up my contemporaries in Cleveland and I say, here's a 5th-round pick back. There's your 5th back. Let's get Shedeur in here and let's see what the kid has got, because why not?
For the record, it was not Evan who texted. It was not him. I don't know him very well at all. We've had him on the show a couple times. I think I've texted here and there.
Listen to the show, you can probably figure out who texted.
Yeah, but I think, is he on that show or is he on another show?
He's on
the guy who texted me. He's on that show in particular? That's why he texted me. Okay. I don't get a chance to listen that much anymore. I'm listening to Nick and JP. I can't, I gotta do what I gotta do. That's why I got that text. Okay. Now it's making sense. I don't know what Josina Anderson had to do with that.
That was a wild shot.
Okay, that was a hell of a shot by Evan. All right, couple of reasons. One, I want to see what he's got. Two, a couple of reasons I'm not trading him. I'm not trading Shedeur Sanders. One, I want to see what he's got. Two, I want to see what he's got, and I'm still looking forward to something in this season because I'm running out of things to look forward to in this season. Number three, and this is the lowest. It's not the biggest reason. I've had some knockdown dragouts about this guy, and I've had to deal with a lot of people over these last few months, and it's been longer than a few months, honestly, who, A, think that the Browns are sticking it to Shedeur on purpose. They're not. Now, I never claimed that the Browns wouldn't do it by accident where they might ruin him on accident. They've ruined guys before, and they may ruin him again. So I didn't take that part out of the equation at all. That was left in there. I don't think that they're going to go out of their way to put the boots to Shedeur or screw him out of an opportunity or treat him wrong or anything like that. I think a lot of that is hyperbolic. I think it's stuff to make it through segments. I don't believe it's real whatsoever. And I'm talking about national shows, whatever. All of that is patently 100% absolutely false, if not a lie on all that. But there is part of this where I've been through this with all this, and that thing has been brought up. There's been people who've decided to use our segments to their own gain of it. That's fine. I'm glad for the attention. Even though I say what I say, it's the absolute truth. I want to see him because I like him. I want to see him because there's something to look forward to in the season still. And the third reason, not the biggest reason, I've been through far too many arguments and far too many shows about Shadour Sanders to just trade him away during the season. I'm not doing that. I don't care. You can get your 5th round pick. Too bad. Don't want the 5th round pick.
Nope, not worth it.
I don't care.
Now, is there a price for you? Is there a price that you would trade him for?
Well, there's a price for everybody, but there's no price that they're going to pay that is going to be more than the 5th-round pick that you gave up to draft Shadour Sanders. Okay. You didn't give it up. You used it on drafting Shadour Sanders. There's
traded up to it.
Technically, yes. You used your 5th-round pick that you traded up to get Shadour Sanders. No. I don't think there's a realistic... Like, nobody's coming in going, we'll give you a 3rd for Shadour. All right. Like, he texts me, goes, what? Like, he started to do it. And the first thing he did is where, you know how New York guys are. He tried to insult me as some sort of like a... Josina Anderson was mentioned there. I got to tell you as well. I'm going, why is Josina Anderson mentioned?
What's she have to do with this?
I don't know. I have no idea about her tweets. The only thing I know about it, we've had her on the show. She's been nice. And the one time she said, keep an eye on Josh Rosen. I'm still trying to keep an eye on Josh Rosen.
I think
he's turning into like Doogie Howser or something like that. I have no idea what his life is becoming right now. He's doing something either in finance or medicine. So that's all I had. But like, he tried to insult me. And like to get me like, oh, yeah, I'll trade him for that. Like, no, that's not going to work. You're not going to insult me into trading Shadour Sanders. Guys, look at where the season is. You're 1-5. We are 1-5. What else do we have to look forward to?
Nothing. Because it
ain't number 4.
No, it is absolutely not number 4. And it's not, if Dylan Gabriel acquits himself as like, yeah, this guy could be it. And he's not going to do that. I have no reason to believe he's going to do that. I don't think anyone believes he's going to do that. If that were the case, that, to me, is the only thing that could open up the door to potentially trading Shadour Sanders. But that is not going to happen, in my opinion, and it is certainly not going to happen before the trade deadline arrives, right? So now you are opening the door for Shadour Sanders to start games and see what he has this year. I think with where this season is headed, that needs to be part of the plan for the Browns. There's not a price that you are, as you mentioned, realistically going to get in order to trade him away. It doesn't make sense. And I know that this doesn't matter to Kevin Stefanski. It doesn't matter to Andrew Berry. It doesn't matter to the Haslams. But I would just like for fans to have something to look forward to have something that say, you know what?
I think it absolutely matters to the Haslams.
I don't think they care.
Fans have something to look forward to?
On this season? No.
Oh, I think you're dead wrong.
No, I think if they got the correct pick, I think they trade him.
Listen,
I don't think they're going to.
But they're not going to get the correct pick.
Right.
Like, yeah, if somebody came in and was like, Ken, we'll offer you a 2nd-round pick, and they're dead serious. Like, yeah, I guess I got to trade him. But no one's offering anything serious that you would go, nah.
It has to be that big of a jump up for you? Because what if it
has to be pretty significant.
They just got a 5th from the Bengals for Joe Flacco. What if
but Joe Flacco's 41.
What if it's, listen to the trade here. Don't jump in. Shedeur and a 5th-round pick for the Jets' 4th-round pick.
No.
Okay.
I think it has to start at the 3rd.
That's why you start acquiring all those mid to late round picks, right? Is you don't take them to go get players with them right now. You take those picks to use them to package to move up to things.
Because then I start to ask myself, Owen.
It's magic beans in a pouch, man.
Owen has trained me well. I knew I had to wait on the end of that. There's a thought there, okay? But my answer to it would be, why do they might be desperate. That's fine.
Because they had negative 10 net passing yards last week.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, it was awful.
But I
don't know why we keep sending those games overseas.
If you're willing, because you're not going to get our best product.
It's the worst.
That's how you test if they really want football or not. You guys really want football over there? You'll take the Jets one week and the Browns the other week. And
the Vikings twice, and here come the Jags again.
We will find out whether or not you guys really want football. I send the Chiefs over there if I don't have to. Hell no. America gets the Chiefs.
They went to Brazil already.
Yes. And I wouldn't do it if I were them.
And they got the Chargers, too. They got a good game. They got a better game in Brazil than Europe has ever gotten.
I ain't the
Friday night, Brazilian high school football is,
I ain't the commissioner.
One of the biggest things.
You will get the two. You want draft pick, you will get Tennessee, you will get the Browns, you will get the Jets if you want international games. Now, I'm not giving you the best and brightest.
They got the Bills last year.
And I don't believe in that. I wouldn't do that. I would not send great teams. If I send a great team over, you're going to play a bad one. I'm not sending the best. I want to see if there's an actual fever for you to show up and actually go to the football game, other than people taking it to go on a European trip. I want to see. Either way, Owen's right. But I'd have to ask myself, why are you calling and offering me all this for Shedeur? What are we not seeing then with Shedeur? Because either A, you're crazy and desperate, which the Jets are crazy and desperate, so that's it. Or B, you really don't think we know what we're looking at. And we might not know what we're looking at, but then I have to ask, do we know what we're looking at?
Well, and I do think there is a certain thing here about you don't want to see, if you're the Browns, the last thing you want to see is a guy go on and have success elsewhere. It's different with Joe Flacco because he is at the end of the line. Like, Joe Flacco probably in his last year of his career, if we're being honest with ourselves. Shadour Sanders is a rookie. Like, he has a chance. I don't know how likely it is. He has a chance to be a good quarterback in this league. And you don't want to see that happen in a different helmet if you're Andrew Berry.
That's exactly right. I need to see what he's got with me. And if he ain't got nothing, fine. I'm going to try to kick the tires on that. I'm so damn desperate for a quarterback. And I wanted this to work out because I'm tired of hearing all the different conversations. We've said some crazy things. Guys, I like Jason. In fact, I love Jason Lloyd. I thought it was ridiculous what he wrote about just getting rid of Shedeur Sanders. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. If this season ain't going to mean nothing, I might as well get a chance to see what he has, and letting him go or trading him right away for nothing ain't going to fix a damn thing with this football team. I heard this from Evan Roberts. Go, oh, that's why I got a text. They wanted some background some way somehow, and they just decided to go with their own thoughts. Anyway, here's Evan Roberts, WFAN.
It is time for the Jets to acquire Shedeur Sanders from the Cleveland Browns. And someone tell me why that's a bad idea. And I don't want to hear about it's a circus. It's a circus? What's this? What the hell is this that we're watching? Bad, crappy football is a circus. The Jets should have drafted this guy, I don't know, second, third, fourth. They got a million opportunities to draft him. He has not gotten an opportunity in Cleveland. I don't really care about the Cleveland Browns, so I'm not going to fight their battles. I'll let Josina Anderson take care of that. All I'm saying is I see a talent, a guy I think we all talked about him as a guy that could at least be a serviceable starting quarterback in the NFL. They are not giving him a chance in Cleveland. If I'm Darren Muji, I call up my contemporaries in Cleveland and I say, here's a 5th-round pick back. Here's your 5th back. Let's get Shedeur in here and let's see what the kid has got, because why not?
Even at the beginning of the year, if you thought that this was too much of a circus, quote unquote, if you thought it was too much to deal with Danny Cunningham in for Anthony, you're 1-5 now.
Right.
So I have to ask, like, especially if you go out there and lose to the Fish on Sunday, which that's a totally different conversation. Well, that's not totally different, but there's a interesting piece of that conversation.
That would be par for the course here.
I think that we start talking about Kevin in earnest if you lose to the Dolphins on Sunday. The Dolphins are a bad team, and they're a bad culture right now.
I think we're there already. I don't think winning that game changes things.
Either way,
it might buy them a little bit of time, but I don't think it changes the end outcome.
Well, at least you could say at least our culture isn't that bad. Your culture may be that bad.
At least your guys are showing up for meetings.
But 2-5 is better than 1-6, and at least your guys are showing up for meetings fine. But it's still where if you're 1-5 or you end up being 1-6 and you lose to the Dolphins, guys, he's the only guy I have to look forward to. He's the only guy that in the draft. He's the only one I have a chance. And I want to see him because you think we had fights about quarterback draft classes in the past. It is about to be a war on these phones about these quarterbacks. It's about to be a war for each one of these guys. There's going to be passionate fan bases for these guys. And
there's also in the draft coming up?
In the draft coming up. And there's also going to be a very strong segment of fans who, and you guys are going to be annoyed by this if you don't believe this way, there's going to be a very strong segment of fans who go, I don't care about 2026. Get us to 2027. Julian Saint's the best quarterback in college football right now. I don't care. I want to fix it and do it right instead of just forcing it with one of these other guys. I already know how this is all going to play out. So in any attempt to avoid it, because I see Dylan Gabriel, I see a guy who's a career backup. I see a perfectly fine young man who's a career backup who's probably going to have a lot of the same statistics and shortcomings and good qualities about him for the rest of his career. That's why Shedeur excites me, because I think his ceiling can be higher. I don't know if it will be or not. I don't know if he's going to be able to attain that in enough time. I don't know. But I'm telling you, I'd rather just kick the tires on him. I don't need a 5th-round pick from the Jets. We got plenty of other 5th-round picks. It seems like we have a billion of them for what we are. I'll go ahead and I'll kick the tires down the line on Shadour Sanders and see whether or not he can hack it in the NFL. Because if you get rid of Shedeur, well, then there's only one other guy you're going to go to. And again, like I said yesterday, people take that as a threat.
Bailey Zappi?
No. I ain't looking forward to Bailey Zappi. He just exists. That's a creative player. The other guy, fans take that as a threat.
Because it is a threat. Because that is the last thing that you want to see. And Unfortunately, I feel like that's going to happen this year.
Unless
it's
you
the
guys,
absolute last thing I want to see. I never want to see that guy wear an orange helmet again.
And I'll tell you, you could say, well, I want him traded. And there's plenty of people who say they wanted him traded because they're tired of us talking about him. They think he's a waste of time. Okay, but if he gets traded, say they do trade him to the Jets for a fifth. You get rid of him, that's it. What if he goes out there and he plays well? What if he goes to the Jets and plays well? How would we like that? We're already dealing with one guy. He's playing exceedingly well. We're already dealing with it with him. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine even another massive fan base? Baker had his own massive fan base. That's why, like, some of the Shedeur fans, you guys ain't ready yet. Guys, we had a station in Oklahoma playing our shows and playing our games, playing Browns games. 2 stations in Oklahoma playing it because of Baker Mayfield. We had Johnny Manziel. We had Odell. We've dealt with massive fan bases before. But one of those massive fan bases are letting us have it every single week because he's playing his ass off. And some of those are still Browns fans, still letting us have it. There's people who don't even like Baker Mayfield and still want him gone, who are still going after the Browns because they're supposed to know better, not any goofball who's on the radio or any guy who's in his neighborhood right now. If you had another guy go out there and do well, what would you think? And then, even if he went out there and he didn't do well, you could sit there and say, see, I told you so, but that's another guy that you took that was destined to be a failure for you. It doesn't make me feel any better to have a 5th-round pick for Shedeur. I'd rather, if this season is lost, and it basically is already, if the season's lost, then give me a chance to see him.
Yes.
Give me a chance to see him with the Cleveland Browns. Give me some modicum of hope before we just go, all right, that's it. That's all. And because he's getting paid a bunch of money, fine, let Deshaun Watson play for the Browns. That's
Well, and I think a lot of the Shedeur stuff is you have to know the way that you're going to be positioning yourselves for next year. Whether Andrew Berry's the one running the show, Kevin Stefanski's still here, somebody else, like, you need to have answers. Maybe not full and complete answers, but you need to at least have an idea. You brought up this upcoming spring's draft.
Yeah.
Like, that is part of this conversation, is what Shedeur looks like, is what Dillon Gabriel looks like. You need to know whether or not those guys, not franchise quarterbacks, you need to know if they're NFL caliber quarterbacks, because I don't think we have those answers right now. We might think Dillon Gabriel can be a nice backup for his career. We don't know that as of right now. He's played 2 games. And I don't think it's entirely fair to look at what he's done in these first 2 games and say, yes, this guy can or this guy can't because of the situation he's in. And the same will be true of Shedeur, but you'll at least have a better idea because you're not getting that idea with what you're going through on a weekly basis in practice. Now, maybe things are bad behind the scenes, and that can tell you certainly more, but you need to see what he looks like on Sundays. You need to see what this guy looks like in game action to know, okay, maybe we have a backup quarterback. Maybe we have a guy that's a replacement level starter, and we can kick the can down the road to 2027 where that draft class of quarterbacks might look a little bit better than the 2026 class does. You need to get answers for your future this season. That is what the rest of the season has become about. It's not about this season. This year's a lost year, and it's been a lost year since the field goal was missed from 37 yards week 1. It's been a lost season since that exact moment. It needs to be about 2026.
216-474-0092. Ben in Kansas City, Missouri.
Monday leave
Ben.
Yes, I'm here.
We have you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I heard what you're saying about potentially having this crew take a look at what you have in Shedeur. But my problem with that is they ran Baker off. So what faith do you have that they're actually going to know what they're looking at whenever you get to see him?
Well, at least I get to see him, don't I?
You do.
I got to tell you,
that's behind the terrible offensive line.
Yeah, Ben, that's not a bad. He's going to have a bad offensive line.
The ball when you have a good run.
He'll have a better wide receiver when he goes to New York. I'll tell you that. But he still has a bad offensive line, and I don't know if anybody trusts their coaching staff right now.
Yeah, I hear you on that, but like I said, I
trust the Brown staff
the
over
crew
the Jets.
I agree, but that's not getting a true evaluation of the quarterback. That's just getting an evaluation of the quarterback in those systems.
Well, I think that if he's that good, he'll raise the boat a little bit. Now, there's some teams you can't overcome, but you could say, like, hey, this guy did well. They got to put some people around. I mean, it's the same thing with Baker in 2018. You can look at him and go, hey, he did well. They're starting to come out of it. Ben, thank you for the call. They need to put some more around him, and they did. They tried to. But when you look at real quick, you could either see that, or there'd be plenty of people who would look at all what Shedeur's putting on tape and go, nah, this isn't, if it were to go the other way, this isn't a pro quarterback, or this isn't even a starting quarterback or anything like that.
You're not figuring out, and this is true for both Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel, you're not figuring out whether this guy's a franchise quarterback or a backup quarterback. You're figuring out, is this guy worth being on the roster? is this guy worth investing time and resources into to figure out, to learning more about him, to maybe he can be a backup?
Yeah.
You're getting answers to those questions because you're right. Like, whoever the quarterback is this year, next year is going to be in a different situation, whether it's coaching, whether it's at the executive level. Hopefully, it's certainly with a different offensive line that is improved next year. It's going to be a different situation next year, whoever's playing quarterback for the Browns, and it will certainly be a different situation in 2027. But you need to figure out whether these guys are worth seeing in that situation. That's what you can learn this year, and that to me is important.